In the desert foothills outside Tucson, where wide skies stretch over quiet homes and towering saguaros, life once moved at a gentle pace for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. Known for her resilience, warmth, and unwavering devotion to her family, Nancy lived a peaceful life built on faith, love, and independence. But in the early hours after January 31st, 2026, that calm was violently disrupted. What began as an ordinary Saturday evening turned into a mystery that has gripped investigators, devastated a family, and captured national attention. 8 agonizing days later, the unanswered questions surrounding Nancy's disappearance continue to haunt everyone following the case. A woman who carried her family through hard times. Nancy Guthrie's story is one defined by strength. Decades ago, she faced one of life's most crushing blows when her husband died suddenly from a heart attack, leaving her to raise 3 young children alone. She stepped into that challenge with courage, determination, and unwavering love. Over the years, she built a close-knit family rooted in faith and compassion. Friends and neighbors describe her as joyful and spirited, someone who laughed easily and cared deeply about those around her. Even as she aged, Nancy remained fiercely independent, maintaining her home and staying active in her church and community. A family known far beyond Tucson. Nancy's children carried forward the values she instilled in them. Among them is Savannah Guthrie, a familiar and trusted voice to millions of viewers across America. But within their Tucson community, the Guthrie family is known less for fame and more for kindness and faith. Nancy's daughter Annie and her son Cameron both remained closely connected to their mother, often gathering for family dinners and weekend visits. To her grandchildren, Nancy was a storyteller, a gentle guide, and a source of unconditional love. Her home in the foothills served as the center of countless family memories. Health challenges that made her disappearance urgent. Despite her vibrant personality, Nancy faced serious health challenges. She relied on a walker to move around and lived with chronic medical conditions, including heart problems requiring a pacemaker. Daily medications helped regulate pain and stabilize her heart. Doctors familiar with similar cases warn that missing those medications even briefly can trigger dangerous consequences. Weakness, confusion, heart complications, or worse. That medical reality has cast a grim shadow over the search. With each passing day since her disappearance, concern has grown that her fragile health may not withstand the prolonged absence of the treatment she depended on. The last normal evening Saturday, January 31st, began like countless family days before it. Nancy spent the evening with relatives, sharing dinner and conversation. By around 9:30 p.m., the visit wound down. Family members drove her back to her single-story ranch home in the Catalina foothills north of Tucson. Surveillance and later statements suggest she entered her house around 9:45 p.m., using her walker as usual. The garage door closed at approximately 9:50 p.m. Nothing appeared unusual. There were no signs of distress, no suspicious activity noticed at the time. It seemed like an ordinary end to a pleasant family evening. The critical overnight window. The mystery deepens in the quiet hours that followed. Nancy's phone remained silent, no calls, texts, or activity after she arrived home. Her pacemaker, connected to an app on her phone, continued transmitting normal signals for several hours. Then, sometime between roughly 1:45 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. on February 1st, the signals suddenly stopped. The connection to the pacemaker monitoring system was lost. Investigators now believe that something significant occurred during this narrow window between late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Those 4 hours may hold the key to understanding exactly what happened inside Nancy's home. The first alarm Sunday morning brought the first signs that something was terribly wrong. Nancy failed to appear at her regular church service, an absence that immediately raised concern among fellow congregants. Friends who knew her habits understood that missing church without notice was highly unusual. A worried friend attempted to call Nancy, but received no answer. Soon afterward, family members were contacted. When repeated calls also went unanswered, relatives drove to Nancy's home around midday. Inside, they found a chilling scene. Nancy was gone. With growing fear, they called 911, triggering what would soon become a major criminal investigation. A home-turned crime scene. Deputies from the Pima County Sheriff's Department arrived quickly for what initially appeared to be a welfare check. But what they discovered inside the house changed everything. Investigators found signs of forced entry and damage to parts of the home, suggesting someone had broken in. Even more disturbing was the presence of a small amount of blood inside the residence. Some reports described drops leading toward the porch and driveway. Within hours, detectives determined Nancy had likely been taken against her will. The case shifted immediately from a missing person search to a suspected abduction investigation. Law enforcement mobilizes Sheriff Chris Nanos addressed the public early in the investigation, making it clear authorities believed Nancy did not leave voluntarily. Homicide detectives joined the case quickly, an unusual step for a disappearance, but one reflecting the seriousness of the evidence found inside the home. By Sunday evening, the Federal Bureau of Investigation had also joined the search. When potential kidnappings occur, federal resources bring additional tools, technology, and manpower. For the Guthrie family, it was confirmation that authorities believed the situation was deeply concerning. A massive search begins. By Monday, February 2nd, the search operation expanded dramatically across the rugged terrain of the Catalina foothills near Tucson. Ground teams combed through rocky washes, desert trails, and cactus-covered hillsides. Helicopters circled overhead, while drones scanned the landscape. Volunteers joined law enforcement, hoping to uncover any clue that might lead to Nancy. Investigators canvassed neighbors door to door, gathering footage from security cameras, traffic systems, and license plate readers. Yet the secluded nature of the neighborhood, large properties, dark roads, and few witnesses at night, made it extremely difficult to identify exactly how the intruder entered or escaped. A disturbing new twist. 2 days into the investigation, a new and troubling development surfaced. Several media outlets reported receiving messages claiming to be from whoever had taken Nancy. These communications demanded large payments in Bitcoin and included threatening language. What made the messages particularly unsettling were specific details they contained: information about Nancy's clothing and aspects of the home that had not yet been publicly disclosed. Authorities began analyzing the messages carefully, working to determine whether they were genuine ransom demands or opportunistic hoaxes meant to exploit the growing media attention surrounding the case. The family's agonizing wait for Nancy's children and grandchildren, the passing days have been filled with uncertainty and heartbreak. Public statements from the family emphasize hope and gratitude for the investigators and volunteers searching tirelessly. At the same time, the lack of direct communication from whoever may be responsible has deepened their fear. The medical risks Nancy faces without her medications weigh heavily on everyone involved. Doctors warn that extended time without proper treatment could have severe consequences for someone with her health conditions. Each new sunrise brings renewed determination, but also painful reminders that time is slipping away. Conclusion: holding on to hope. 8 days after Nancy Guthrie vanished from her Tucson home, the search continues with relentless determination. Investigators are still following leads, reviewing evidence, and analyzing tips from across the country. Volunteers and community members remain committed to helping bring her home. Nancy's life was defined by perseverance, faith, and devotion to her family. Those who know her believe that same spirit continues to guide the effort to find her. Until answers emerge, the message echoed by her loved ones and supporters remains simple but powerful. Keep her name in the light, keep sharing her story, and never stop searching.